Seoul City Institute has called on government to increase access to psychological support for victims of gender-based violence. More than 2,300 cases were reported in the first week of the national lockdown. Of those, at least 148 suspects have been charged. Seoul City's CEO, Phinah Kodisang, joins us on Skype. A very good morning to you. The sort of psychological support that you're calling for, how should it come?
Good morning. There's various ways that it can be provided. When people call in to report cases, their numbers could be taken down and they could be called back to be provided with that support. Or there could be mobile clinics that are deployed across the country where people are testing and where people are also being provided psychosocial support. I think it's important because the fact that people are locked in their houses is also working against people. But if services are not provided, it's even a double whammy. So that people are locked down should not limit them from being provided the services that they need, especially those that are being violated right now.
And what sort of services? I mean, is it enough just hearing a voice on the other side of a line? I mean, to what extent can you provide some sort of relief and support?
I think at the moment we use whatever is at our disposal. We don't also want to risk, infecting people, because remember, the reason we are on lockdown is to flatten the curve and not expose people to potentially being infected with the virus. So while people might need face-to-face, I think telephonic is also good enough. But where people really need medical services as well, Tutuzela care centers are open 24 hours. So it could be a combination of people physically going to the Tutuzela care centers or people being called to be provided the support.
Okay, and important for them to know that it is safe, that they are allowed to go out to access this.
Everyone is allowed to go to the police station to lay a charge. Everyone is allowed to go to Tutuzela care centers. So it is important for them to know that those services are still available even in this lockdown.
Phinah, what if they can't speak to you from their home? What happens to those whose voices we can't hear in this time?
True, it's possible that there'll be those who can't speak because the perpetrators are still in the house with them. And that is why it's important also that, family members that know of family members who are being abused also reach out and try to help. So it can't be the responsibility of the victim alone. Right now, everybody must take responsibility to make sure that, we reduce the number of violence that is perpetrated on women.
The fact that we saw so many cases being reported, that means those are only the ones that we hear about in the last week. What does it tell you what's happening at the moment, and what are your concerns?
Our concerns is that there's a lot of underreporting, and there's a lot of women who don't know that help is out there. We also fear that there'll be a lot of women who are killed, in this period. So there's a lot of things that really concern us, and gender-based violence is always not taken seriously. It's something that we think of after it has happened. We don't really prevent, how it happens. And it's concerning that in this period, women are taking the brunt of not only taking care of their families, not only worrying about making sure that the families are provided for, but also worrying about their safety. So they are not only worrying about their safety against the virus, but they're also worrying about their safety against perpetrators.
Do you ever talk to the perpetrators? I mean, do you ever speak to the abusers? Do they sometimes call you when they feel that they're out of control, when they know what they're doing is wrong?
A lot of people are in denial about them being abusers. They always think their action at the time was justified, so they don't see themselves as an abuser. So we never get to engage. I'm not saying there are those who don't reach out, but I have not come across anyone who willingly come out and say, I'm an abuser, I'm afraid I'm going to get out of control, how do I control this?